and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle and this is going to be my last Project Pan introduction video for at least a while. Unlike the other projects I've got going on, which are a little bit more of long-term, long-haul, deep dive types of projects, I'm going to link those all in the description or in the cards or something like that so that you can check those out if you haven't already. But this project is going to be one that will hopefully allow me to cycle through my products a little bit quicker. So if that interests you, I hope you'll stick around to see my take on the 22 and 22 project. So typically the 22 and 22, or like last year 21 and 21, usually those types of projects are focused on finishing up or hitting a certain goal set for each product. But for my purposes, because my goal is to familiarize myself with my collection, to be using a little bit of everything that I have so that I can make a decision on whether it truly fits within my collection or not. I am going to be calling my project 22 uses in 22, and my goal for each product that I roll into this project will be the same, and that goal will be to hit 22 uses on each product. I had considered just trying to shop my stash instead of creating a dedicated project for this purpose, but I have a couple of reasons for trying to incentivize myself with a project. First of all, I can imagine myself if I wanted to force myself to use something that doesn't come to hand right away, I would tend to neglect those products. And even if I had them pulled in my little curated collection for that time, I wouldn't be reaching for those things. So I decided to create a project that would, in a way, kind of force my hand to use those things, and also to hopefully incentivize me to use those things. And I also wanted to create a project for this purpose because I wanted to be intentionally tracking my usage. I know how sometimes it can feel like you're using something over and over again, or that you've gotten a lot of use out of a product, or a lot of wears out of a certain piece of clothing or something like that. And then when you actually come down to counting the number of times you've used it or worn it, and it turns out that you've only actually used it like 5 times or something like that, you haven't actually gotten the use that you feel that you have gotten out of it. So because of that kind of phenomena that can happen, I wanted to ensure that I am actually getting good use out of these things that I roll into this project. I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't just be shopping my stash and use something once or twice and then think that I have a really good grasp on how that product works, how I can make it work for me. I figured that 22 uses would be about the right amount of uses to figure out whether something really did or didn't work for me, and then to decide whether or not I would like to keep it in my collection. There are some products that I will be rolling into this project not only to get a feel for, but hopefully to use up. But for the most part, my progress on each of these products is going to be just like an added benefit. It's going to be like a secondary goal to the real goal of figuring out whether or not these products are a good fit for me. In the grand scheme, 22 uses isn't a whole lot when you think about using up an entire product. I know that for some types of products, like say a blush, it can take well over 100 uses, maybe even over 200 uses in some cases. So in 22 uses, I'm not going to see a whole lot of progress on some of these products, but hopefully it can serve as an introductory sort of way to make sure that the things that I do have are curated specifically for me and my preferences. And lastly, I just want to mention I do have one caveat. If you have seen any of my previous Project Pan videos, you'll know that I do have a mid-year refresh that I will be implementing in all of my projects this year. My main reason for doing this is just to keep interest if there's something that I know that I want to keep in my collection, but that I just can't force myself to use, like, say, a red lipstick or some sort of difficult product like that. I'm hoping that the mid-year refresh can allow me to maintain my interest in the project. So for a project like this that is focused on getting just a core amount of smaller number of uses, I'm hoping that I won't have to do a whole lot of refreshing. I'm hoping that there won't be a lot of things that I need to roll out at that time, because I'm hopeful that I will get to my goal number of uses on each of these products and roll them out naturally in that way. But if there's something that I'm really struggling with that I just can't get usage on, first of all, with it being so few uses, perhaps that's an indication that it's something that should be decluttered. If I really just can't seem to part with it, then I will allow myself to roll something out even out of this project. So if in July, when we hit that mid-year point, if I'm really struggling with this project, I can implement that mid-year refresh rule and roll a couple of items out, roll all of them out, whatever I'm feeling at that time, in order to make this project still workable for me. I think that's everything. I'm going to hop on into showing you the products that I've chosen to start us off for this year. Okay, so the first product that I have for this project is the Hourglass Primer and this little mini. This is the Veil Primer. I don't know if Hourglass has other primers. This is the only one I'm familiar with. I've had several of these Hourglass minis. I know that I really like this primer, but I'm not supporting Hourglass, so I really would just like to get this out of my collection. I've been hanging on to it for a little while because I know that I like it, but it's its time. I don't want it to expire. This really should be used up in 22 uses. There's not like a perfect set of lines, so I'm not sure if you can see, but it's probably about here. It's probably a little under halfway through. Within 22 uses, surely I should use this up. Even if I don't, it is my goal to use this up at some point this year. So hopefully this will be a good one to start off with. Hopefully I can finish this up within the first couple of months so that I can roll in something new pretty much right off the bat this year. Next up, I have this Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I have some feelings about this foundation. I actually like the formula. I know that there were some people complaining about the formula when it first launched, or saying that it was too dry or what have you. I don't have those feelings about it necessarily, but this foundation is too light for me, like pretty significantly too light for me. Over the years, I have gone back and forth on how, if you can hear my cat, he is outside the door. So anyways, so over the years, I've kind of struggled to find my true shade match in a foundation. And I've even struggled to know exactly how light or dark my skin tone is, whether I should be considered fair, light, light medium, medium. It's all different depending on the brand. So I do think that I am like light to light medium in the summers. I did have a sample of this. I thought it was a good match, and I ordered the full size. Used it a couple of times, and it is just too light for me. It really washes me out. It's kind of difficult to fully bronze up to make work for me. So I would like to use this 22 times, and I'm going to mix it with a bit of a darker concealer to hopefully try to bronze this up a little bit and make it work a little bit better for my skin tone. If that doesn't work, I'm really gonna have to figure out what to do with this foundation because it's an expensive one. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully I can find a way to really make this work for me so that I can use it up. Right now, it's about at that line. The settle lines aren't perfectly clear. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. But because it's so light for me, I really do need to use this in the winter time. So I am really hoping to get this done within the next month or two. Next, we have this ColourPop Super Shock Cheek. Next up, we have this ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade between the sheets. This blush is getting pretty old. I'm not sure if you can see that on the packaging, but it's not a cute blush. But I'm going to show you the inside a little bit more closely. Again, it's not super cute. I will explain a little bit why that is. Okay, so I hope that you can see this. But this blush I did have in my project pan all of 2021 while I was panning. I didn't start until like April. But I was using on this, I hit major pan, and then this year I've tried to kind of push the product to the center so that I could use it a little bit easier. I do really like this blush. This is like kind of the perfect color for me. It's like the color that my skin looks like if I've just gotten some sun, or even better if I'm actually blushing. If I'm like embarrassed or something like that, I turn this actual color, or at least how this color looks on my skin. So I do really like this. My only problem is that this blush is starting to get a little bit dried out. So I would really like to finish this up. I'm not sure that I can do it in 22 uses. Regardless of whether it happens in this project or not, I would like to finish up this blush this year. Okay, we have another ColourPop blush. This one is a powder blush in the color Vogue. This color, I'm not sure how well you can tell on camera, but this is a pretty cool toned color. It's one of only a few cool toned blushes that I have in my collection. And because of that, I've been hesitant to reach for it, even though it's one that I kind of lusted after for a while before I bought it. I really would just like to familiarize myself with this color to decide whether or not it's something that is a good fit for me. I have it on today, so perhaps you can tell me what you think of it. I still haven't decided yet what I think about it, but I have like 21 more uses to figure it out. Next up, I have this Dior highlighter palette. Dior has several of these highlighter palettes, but this is the one that's called like Glitz or something like that. This palette is still pretty new to me, and I'm still trying to figure out what I like and don't like about this palette, so that's why it's in this project. So hopefully over the 22 uses I can kind of decide. So far I am really enjoying this peachy color. It's the one in here that I know works well for me. This darkest one, of course, is not going to work for my skin tone, but at least not as a highlighter, but I'm hoping that I can use it as an eyeshadow. And then these two up top, they're so beautiful, and I really would love to use them on my cheeks, but they are pretty glittery, so I just need to mess around with it a little bit more, see if that's something I can make work for me or not. Otherwise, perhaps I can use them as like an inner corner highlight shade or a brow bone highlight on my eyes. So yeah, I'm sure I'll find a way to make this work. It's so beautiful. I don't want to let it go. So I'm really hoping I can find a way to make this one work for me. Next up is this Lip Souffle by Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Courage. I actually really like this formula. I've heard people talk about this formula negatively, but I really enjoy it. I think it's especially nice for these nude shades. I do have a couple of reds that are more difficult to use. Courage is the most like my lips but better type of shade, the most natural, the most flattering, the most easily wearable type of shade. This one should be easy to reach 22 uses on. In fact, I'm hoping that I can do it before the next update, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I feel at the end of this project, but right now how I feel is that once I finish up this shade, I will probably want to repurchase it. So we'll see if that still holds true after 22 uses, but so far I'm really enjoying this one. I'm also wearing it today, so you can tell me if I'm full of crap or not, but I really like this. The second lipstick that I have in this project is a little mini from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk Medium Lipstick Mini. So I bought this color because the original Pillow Talk doesn't work the best for me. I do have a mini of that one as well, and it is just a little bit too light and too orange on me. These are supposed to be like mauve-y tones, but the Pillow Talk does not appear mauve-y on me at all. It's pretty orange. So I bought the medium one, trying to fix that, to try to see if it was just that it was too light on me so that it appeared kind of funky on my skin tone. So I thought maybe I'd get a darker color and it would appear a little bit more mauve-y. I think that is true a little bit. I'm still trying to decide if this one actually works for me though, if I actually like the way that it looks on my skin. I'm not convinced yet. I'm hoping to gain some more clarity on that over the next 22 uses, and maybe the Pillow Talk line just isn't for me. I mean, who would have thought it? Because that's supposed to be like the most universally flattering for Charlotte Tilbury, but it ain't for me, at least right now. But we'll see. Maybe my mind will be changed. Okay, and now I have a couple of less exciting probably products, and then I have some nail polishes. So first off, this little Peter Thomas Roth Firmex peeling gel. I worked on this last year. As you can tell, I have a few months of progress already kind of that I've been tracking. I really like this, and I'm going to, continue using it probably the same amount as I have the past few months. But the main issue with the progress on this is just that I only use something like this like maybe once or twice a week. So the progress is slow. But if I just keep using it for a couple of months, I'm sure it'll be done. It should be no problem to finish this in 22 uses. It should probably take less than 10. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, we're really close to the end. I just want to finish it out. Next is this little Glow Recipe mini avocado melt retinol eye mask. It looks kind of nasty in there, so I apologize if that grosses you out to see it. The first time that I used this product, it severely burned my under eyes, and so I was scared to use this for a while, but I just need to go incredibly heavy on my moisturizer, and actually I use another eye cream with it as well. So I will do eye cream, and then moisturizer heavily on top, and then there's enough moisture that this won't burn my skin off. I just want to keep using it up in this way and then be done with it. I would really like to start using retinols more. I have tried a few retinol products. Some of them have done nothing for me. Some of them have done what this one did to me, and my under eyes is just not a place that I want to be dealing with really irritated, dry, flaking off skin. So hopefully when I'm done with this, I can find a retinol that actually does work for my skin and works under my eyes as well. But for now, yeah, I'll just focus on getting this one out of my collection. Also, just to say, this certainly should not take 22 uses to finish up. It should take way less than that. This is a tiny, tiny mini. I'm just scared to use it. So that's the main hurdle that I need to get over with this product. Okay, last of the kind of more boring ones, at least to me. This is just a Gold Bond lotion. And yeah, it's a boring thing to have in a project, and that's why I pretty much never use it, even though I really need to. Where I live in the country, we have pretty intense winters. This is the best thing for dry, cracked, or scaly hands, or feet or elbows, or whatever part of your body is really dry. This works wonders, but because it's just kind of a boring old thing, I prefer to reach for one of my scented moisturizers instead. Having it in this project will hopefully encourage me to use this more. I've already been doing so, and it has been a good encourager to see how it does really affect my skin positively. So hopefully I will be encouraged to continue using this because it's good for me and I need to. Okay, so we've gone through 10 products so far, and I have 5 nail polishes, and I'm planning to just keep 5 nail polishes in rotation at a time. I have no idea how long it will take me to hit 22 uses on a single nail polish. Maybe I'll be using these 5 all year long, I don't know. But I wanted to have multiple so that I would be, cycling through a couple of different colors instead of just using only one for the rest of the year or however long it takes. So first off, I have this Essie nail polish in the shade Wicked. I like this type of color. I have several that are similar, like incredibly similar color to this. This one applies kind of patchy. You know, I may get a few uses into this and decide I don't like it and declutter it and choose to keep those ones instead. I'm not sure. I want to get some use on this to decide. I have made a little mark on it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right about here. So there's a little bit of a settle line happening. The other ones that I have that are a similar color to this are like smaller kind of indie brands. So I would prefer to probably buy from those brands anyways, but we'll see. Next I have this Pure Ice brand nail polish, and it's in this shade Stone Cold. So I've had this one for quite some time. I don't know if I've ever used it. If I have, I've only used it like once. It's a gray with some gold shimmer in it. I'm just not sure how that's going to look. So I just need to wear this a few times and make a decision on this one if I want to keep it or not. I'm leaning towards not, to be honest, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be swayed. Number 3, I have this Formula X Mini. This is the shade Revved Up. It's just a gold glitter nail polish. I actually really like it. I've worn it a fair amount. This is the little kind of settle line is about halfway down. So I'm really thinking that I just can use this up and then move on to something else. The last 2 that I have are from the same small indie brand. These are from Bee's Knees Lacquer. I really am interested in the brand. I really like them. I have multiple nail polishes from their brand. And actually, my favorite nail polish ever comes from this brand, and it was a limited release. Pretty much everything that they make is limited. They have small releases that are all focused around one kind of like core theme, and it's really fun, and you kind of get the feeling of like being in on something that's a small release. That's always kind of a fun feeling. They had a release in 2021, I think, that I bought a few different nail colors from that one release, but my favorite was called Perfectly Splendid, and it was like a sheer nude shade that had a red to kind of like gold shimmer in it that was really subtle, and it was so beautiful. It was like if you've ever seen the Cleona shade Ray or the Terra Moon's shade Red Giant, it was that, except for in a nail polish. And it was perfect, and I love it so much. I wore it for my engagement photos. I was planning to wear it for my wedding. It was like, it's my nail polish. It's the one that I love so much. And somehow I lost it. So I'm like, I've debated reaching out to the brand because I love it so much and I want them to make it again so that I can buy another backup. So if you know of any nail polish like that, that is like a sheer nude that has a red reflect, I would love to know, because after my no buy, I would really like to buy one like that if I can't find my favorite Perfectly Splendid. Anyways, tangent over. These little guys, this one's called The Book, and this one is called Solidarity. I'm wearing The Book right now. This nail polish has green to blue shimmer in it. And then this one is obviously a light purple base, but it does have a red to green type of shimmer in it. So they're both very unique. All of their nail polishes are pretty unique. They're both wonderful, but I just haven't really had a chance to use them yet. So this will be an opportunity to use them. I'm very excited to get some use on these nail polishes from a brand that I really love and support. I don't know if I mentioned, this Solidarity nail polish was created in response to the Asian hate that was really prevalent throughout the beginning of COVID. Well, just throughout COVID. They're just a really cool brand and you should check them out, and I'll link them in the description. Okay, enough rambling. Those are the 15 products that I will be working on in my 22 uses and 22 project. If you would like to follow along with this project, I would love to have you. I hope that you will subscribe And if you have any of these products, please let me know what your thoughts are on them. And if you have any tricks on how to use them, I would love to hear. If you are doing any types of project pans this year, please let me know. Link your Instagram or your YouTube or wherever you share your progress. I would love to know, or even just comment and let me know how your projects are going. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.